Jack should be able to hear you. Say good morning to Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Justin, can you hear me okay?
Yep, can you hear me?
I think you guys might be muted on your end.
How about now?
There we go, we got it. We'll be ready to get started.
Whenever you're ready, Jack.
All right, we'd like to welcome Justin Thomas into the interview room at the CJ Cup at Shadow Creek. Justin is a two-time winner of the event and the defending champion this year. So Justin, albeit at a different course, if we could get an opening comment ahead of your title defense here at the CJ Cup.
Yeah, this is, in terms of playing the same event, I can't imagine being much farther apart or across the country than this for example, but now CJ does an unbelievable job of putting on a great event. I mean, even here at Shadow Creek, you still kind of have the same vibes and, you know, seeing you know, the same people involved with the tournament, and had some Korean barbecue for lunch yesterday, which was still incredible. But no, obviously, which was able to be at Nine Bridges and at Jeju Island, but obviously, you know, Shadow Creek is a pretty unbelievable alternative.
And before we open it up to questions from the media that we have on the line, could you tell us a little bit about your familiarity with Shadow Creek, any past experiences here?
Yeah, I played a couple times. I think my rookie year, I missed the cut at the Summerlin event, and I came here on Saturday and played, and then my mom's and my girlfriend's birthday is actually the same day. My mom turned 60, and so we came out to Vegas, did a little family trip on the way to LA actually in February, and I was obviously trying to get ready for a golf tournament, so I was playing golf, and we came out here one day with the family and played, and so I know the course a little bit, and yeah, I think it's going to be very dependent on how it's set up. The greens are very severe, and if they, I mean, it's definitely not overly difficult, but if it's set up hard and it gets a little bit firm, then you know, it's obviously going to play a little bit more challenging.
All right, with that, we'll open it up to questions. If you have a question, please type your name in the chat window, and we will call on you. We will take our first question from Brian Rolberg. Go ahead, Brian.
Hello, thank you. Brian Hurlbert, Good Morning Reed. You just talked about having played the course, but there's a certain mystique and aura about it due to its history and location in Las Vegas. Do you know anything or have any memories or stories that you've heard about Shadow Creek?
I don't know very much history at all, to be perfectly honest. I know that pretty much everybody who's anybody has been here. I mean, I've been here when it's, you know, the players aren't in the locker room, and just going through and looking at the nameplates, it's pretty impressive and unbelievable, just the names that are on some of those lockers. But no, I mean, I know it's a fun course, it's scenic, and I'm sure the history and the stories are something that even the people who know it all might not even know it all. You know, there's a lot of things that have gone down here, and you know, I've had a couple good times here, and been able to, you know, to make a couple of my own memories, but for the most part, it's, no, I don't know, not even remotely the half of it.
We'll take our next question from Adam Shupak, Golf Week. Go ahead, Adam.
Justin, you know, you got off to a great start at the U.S. Open, but what did you take away from that experience, and also just how challenging was it playing out of the rough, and your level of respect for what Bryson was able to do?
Yeah, it was a perfect test. I mean, I would be all for playing Winged Foot every single year for a U.S. Open. I thought it was an unbelievable course. I thought the fairways could have been a little bit slower. I thought they were rolling so fast that some of them were just very difficult to hit, almost too difficult. But at the end of the day, I thought that pretty much if you're in the rough, you're going to get a bad lie. But I mean, when I saw what Matt did on Saturday, you know, hitting I think 2 or 3 fairways and shooting 5 under, I hit 2 fairways, and I got news for you. I was not going to shoot 5 under from the lies that I had. So although the rough was very long and penal, you apparently could get some, you know, some lies, and that's just a part of it. I mean, that happens every single week, that some guys get good breaks, some guys don't. But at the end of the day, if you hit the fairway, it was a premium. And yeah, I mean, Bryson, along with guys like Brooks and DJ, Rory. I mean, they have the strength to be able to get out of that rough, maybe a little bit better than other people do. But I mean, that's not why Bryson won. I mean, he won because he played better than everybody, and he made a lot more putts than everybody, and that's what you have to do to win a U.S. Open.
Have you figured out any bit of a different plan for prepping for the Masters with it being in November?
Definitely not. It's still Augusta. It's you still have to miss it in the same spots. You still, have to take advantage of the holes that you usually do. The only difference is we don't know how it's going to play. I mean, it could play a lot longer. It could be slower, but at the same time, if they get the appropriate weather, it could be firmer and faster and play even harder. So that's the unknown. I think that a lot of us are going to experience and go through, is that we're going to go there not knowing what it's going to be like, and we're just going to have to take it for what it's worth. But it's still Augusta National. You still, the holes have been the same for a long time in terms of tee to green. Some gotten a little bit longer, but the design and shape of the holes have not really changed, and you just have to go out and execute. So after these 2 weeks, I've been doing some prep for it, but I'll continue to do more as the weeks go on, and then come the 2 weeks prior to Augusta, hopefully be ready to go.
You have a sense of what your schedule is going to be leading up?
Yeah, I'm playing these next two, and then I'm off 2 weeks.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we'll go to Steve DeMeglio, USA Today.
Hey, Justin, has what Bryson has done and is doing influenced you in any way?
I probably have messed around some stuff for me. I think, I just want some more speed. I want to be able to, I feel like I've been good at having another gear, another 5 or 10 yards if I need it, but I don't necessarily have that another 20. But at the same time, I'm not, and this is not disrespectful to Bryson, I'm not going to put on 40 pounds. Like, I don't have the height to do that. I'm going to look like a beach ball if I put on 40 pounds. So I can get stronger in different parts of my body that can help me hit it farther and gain some distance. But I hit it plenty far enough, which it's shown to win tournaments and do well. But if there's a way that I can use it to get an advantage, but at the end of the day, if I continue to hit the same distance and play the rest of my career injury-free, that's what's most important, and that's what I've been trying to do in my training, and we're just going to see if we can incorporate some stuff that gets me a little bit more speed.
Thanks, big man.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Ferguson, Associated Press, go ahead.
You just got done saying you can't put on 40 pounds, and he's calling you big man. Can you explain that?
I cannot explain that.
Sorry about that. Listen, we're talking about the depth of talent in the tour right now, and there's a fine line between guys who might be 80s in the world and the top 10, etc. But if you look at guys like you and Rob, DJ, Brooks, and a lot that have really separated themselves, about a dozen of them. So, how does that happen? What is it that you guys are doing that is separating yourself from ones whose talent is probably not that far behind?
That's a good question. I would say just the consistency and doing it more often. I think the guys that are always at the top of the world rankings, the guys that are at over the course of 5-10 years are up there more than anybody else. They know how to play bad better than everybody else, if that makes sense. I've won tournaments without my best stuff, and I've had a chance to win with really average golf, and I think that's, DJ can say the same thing, and Rory can say the same thing, and Rahm can say the same thing, and it's Tiger did that so well in his heyday, and I shouldn't say his heyday, he's had a heyday of like 20 years, but you know what I mean. He just is, the guys that I think are at in a different, I hate to say different level because it's not a different level, we're all the same, but like you said, that's kind of continue to stay at the, exactly, has just consistently figured out how to manage their game, their bad game better. And that's all it is out here. Everybody's good is really, really good, and everybody's great is great, but it's how good is your bad. If you're not playing well, how can you somehow will your way into contention? And then, when all of us get in contention, we feel pretty comfortable, and that's what's most important.
Averill, PGA Tour, go ahead.
Hi, madam. We're having some camera issues. Not sure you can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you.
Great. The course that we hear is sort of about all the risk reward has on there. Just wondering how aggressive, I guess, you might be there this week as opposed to sitting back, you know.
I don't remember. I mean, again, I've just played a couple times. I don't remember a lot of crazy risk reward stuff or opportunities, but I mean, I have a hard time believing I'm going to play much more aggressive than I already do. It's not like I'm uber conservative by any means, but I mean, I've continued to try to have the same philosophy where if I'm hitting it well, I'm going to be aggressive because I know what the ball is going to do. I know where it's going to come down. I can keep it on one side of the golf course or the other. But if I'm not playing well, then I have to play conservative. I just have to kind of play around that. And that's the biggest thing is when you have an opportunity to score, then you need to be going at the pin because for what the scores I feel like probably will be this week, I mean, I think they'll be pretty low. You're going to need to make a lot of birdies. So if you're hitting it well, you got to attack, and I think that's going to be the mindset this week.
Thanks, mate. If I could just take you to other players, and you know, obviously this event's usually in Korea, and we've got a couple of Korean stars like Sungjae, Siwoo, and whatnot on the tour. Can you talk to their talent and their progression, I guess, coming through what you've seen?
Yeah. I mean, I've played with Sungjae a couple times, and he's I think impressive is an understatement. I mean, he's way beyond his years for, you know, how young he is and how well he's handled his situation. I mean, I know, especially being a Korean star in golf, I mean, the spotlight's on you. I mean, he went to go play 9 holes yesterday, and I mean, the media that was following him was unbelievable, and that's hard to do. It's hard to do at any age, but especially as young as he is, and it's to consistently do it, but the shots that he hits and to have that much variety in your game and be able to hit it high, really high with spin, and hit it low and flight it and hold it up against winds, both left to right and right to left, is very impressive. And I know how big the sport is in Korea, and that is what's unfortunate about not being there this week. We always get a huge following out there, and it's really cool to see. But you know, it is what it is this year, and we have to make best with what we have. And I know there's always a strong Korean contingency in the event, and I know that they'll be here again this week.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Next, we'll go to Ryan Lavner, Golf Channel. Go ahead, Ryan.
Justin, you mentioned wanting to add some more speed. How do you crank that up consistently and train for that besides just swinging harder?
First off, I want to say I don't like all the Georgia logos in the background, but
I actually thought about just not having my camera on.
It's I'm staying in the house with kids this week, so Saturday should be really entertaining. But now anyway, I mean, there's different ways to do it, and I mean the absolute number one thing is that I'm continuing to stay injury free, and I'm continuing to progress in a good direction in terms of staying healthy and staying fit. But if I can do that while incorporating some more speed, then that's big. I mean, for me, the hardest part is staying in a routine. And I mean, over quarantine, I was in the best shape I've ever been in my life because I was working out 5 days a week. I was lifting some pretty good weight, and I was getting treatment a lot. So I felt I was as strong as I've ever been. But then once we came back out, you know, I'm going to these, you know, we're going to 90, 95 degree weeks, and it's humid, and we're walking 6, 7, 8 miles a day. I mean, I think when I got back from the Tour Championship, I had lost like 13 or 14 pounds from when we started in Colonial. So it's like, it's just hard to maintain that routine and all that muscle. So for me, it's going to be probably using my off weeks better, and then maybe ramping it up a little bit in the beginning of the weeks in terms of training. Just because it's hard. I mean, once we start the tournament, if you don't get the perfect tee times, I can't do what I want to do working out wise. But I mean, I'm trying to keep my energy level up, and that's what's most important once I tee off on Thursday. But I just need to do some stuff for my lower body, probably get that a little stronger. and then get my and kind of continue to maintain the flexibility in my hip mobility, stuff like that, while put on a little bit of strength. But I'm not far off. It's just really about just messing with different stuff and you know, with some different training and explosiveness to, you know, hopefully be able to pick up something.
What does a 15-pound weight loss get you down to?
I was at it was the lowest I've been in a while. I was at 151 when I got back from Atlanta. It was a tough scene.
Thanks, man. Have a good week.
Thanks.
We'll go back to Adam Schupak. Go ahead, Adam.
Justin, what was the highlight of winning last year the CJ Cup, and what really clicked in your game?
The highlight for me is weird. I shouldn't say it's weird, but as random as it was probably having my parents there. I mean, for them to just take the trip with me to Asia. They'd never been. It was my dad's birthday week, and my mom asked what he wanted to do, and he was like, you know, let's go. There's not a whole lot going on in Louisville, Kentucky in October, and my mom's never going to say no to being able to watch a tournament. And so they came, and you know, they did a little bit of exploring. They went to Korea and Japan, and to be able to win with both of my parents in Asia is something that I didn't think would be happening. For them to both be there and coincidentally win was really cool to get to share that moment with them. But in terms of my game, I like that course. It's just I know what winds you can take advantage of. You know, there's certain wind directions where there's holes that are easy one way, and the other way you just kind of have to play for par. And I've played it enough to where I understand that. And certain pins where you have to maybe play to different parts of the golf course. So I feel comfortable out there, and I feel like I know how to play it. And at that point, it's just about executing and kind of picking my spots. And I think that's something I've really, really done well there is understanding when I get on a hole it's going to be easy for guys to maybe force it and try to make birdie on a Sunday when you're around the lead, when I know that that's just not the reality, and I hit it to 25 feet and I make par, and I might end up gaining a stroke on the person or people that I'm playing against.
Do you have a theory on why you've had so much success in the fall?
I don't. I'm not sure, but I'm happy the Masters is in the fall this year, so hopefully that'll have some good vibes.
All right, thanks.
Next, we'll go to Chua. Go ahead, Chua.
Hey, Justin, I know you guys have missed the fans over the past few months. Just curious, what would be some of the things that you'd miss about not playing and being in Asia this next few weeks for the Asia-based events?
Probably missing you first and foremost. I definitely miss having you next to me at my press conferences. But no, it's just cool because the game of golf is growing so much across the world, and it's so big in Asia. And I mean, for someone like me, the first time I went to Malaysia, and the first time I went to China, the first time I went to Korea, like I mean, I never played outside anywhere. I mean, the farthest I went was probably Mexico. You know, maybe played the British Open, but in terms of like actually going across the country and playing in front of, you know, a different language, and playing in front of just in being in different surroundings, and you know, trying to figure out where to go eat food and all that stuff. It's a fun experience. But the amount of support that myself and all the other Americans and just all the players get when we go over to Asia is really cool, because they know everything about golf. They know everything about us. They know they're huge fans of it. They like to go out and watch golf, and that's what's fun about it. And I'll definitely miss, and I know the players will too.
Thanks.
Thanks, man. Good seeing you.
We have time for one more question, a quick one. We'll go to Doug Ferguson. Go ahead, Doug.
Sample size is relatively small for you, but what would be one of the loudest cheers you've ever heard at Augusta National?
For me or in general?
Whether it was you or someone else.
In general, in 2000, I think it was 18. Whenever Jordan shot 64 on Sunday, I played with him that day, and he made a birdie on 16. He made about a 35-footer, and that was the loudest roar I've ever heard in my life. I mean, it felt like the ground was moving. It was insane. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it and talking about it, but it was like, I think he's tied for the lead going into that hole. I mean, the leaders were on 12 or 13, and we were quite a bit ahead, but that got him to 9 under through 16 and in the lead, and it was unreal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, we appreciate the time, and go Dogs this weekend, all right?
Okay.
We were able to receive a donation last year with your wins at the CJ Cup. If you could talk about how that money was used and what your foundation is doing now with that money.
Do you want him looking directly into the camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see, for the Birdies for Love.
Yes, Birdies for Love. You received a $50,000 donation from the Birdies for Love program last year with the win, which went to your foundation.
Yeah.
What work have you done?
Okay, yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, due to the amazing donation from last year from winning the CJ Cup, and was able to donate a good amount of money to my foundation. It was an unbelievable gesture, but we've been able to put it to great use and in ways of helping out, you know, military families was something that I felt like I hadn't reached out to quite enough throughout my foundation, and we've done a lot of great work to impact all the soldiers that have post battle and post-military, to be able to help them and their families to make sure that they're living a lot better life. And it was an unbelievable gesture, and it's been very impactful through everyone that's been involved.